The following is a presentation of the BP8 Podcast Network.
Hi, folks. It's Brian Pate from the Pate Realty Group in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to welcome you to the BP8 Podcast Network and Brian Pate on real estate. So today is Monday, August 13th. It is about 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's been the end of a very long day. But a good day. So we've put up signs at two new listings, one in Raleigh and one in Durham. And in that vein, I thought I would come to you and give you some updates on what's going on in the world of real estate. So let's start with the National Association of Realtors, who has reported that the median single-family home price in the second quarter of 2018 has edged up to $269,000. That is a gain of about 5.3% year over year. And of course, this is a national number. This is not a local number here. If you're listening in Raleigh-Durham, we're actually up closer to 6 and 6.1% for the year. And for the last couple of quarters, that's where we've been going from. But the nice thing is in addition to that going on and that rise, the median family income also rose, and that went to $75,106. So the median family income here in the United States at this point is right at $75,100. And we'd really like to see that up significantly more. But the good news is that unemployment rates are down and people at least have jobs, although there are still some folks out there that are underemployed and doing things that they weren't trained for. So that's the downside of that news. Now, we continue to have issues with supply. You heard me talk in one of our first podcasts about supply and demand and the challenges that it causes us to take. But that supply is really at certain points where it's a real drag on home sales in certain markets. The nice thing is the second quarter did see about a 0.5% increase in available homes. And that's the first quarter that we have seen increases in almost 13 quarters. So that's a good sign that we're seeing an increase in inventory. Total inventory in the United States right now as of last week was 1.95 million units. So reports of a housing market slowdown are definitely premature. We certainly, if you look at the Wall Street predictions, when you average out the bull and the bears, they think that sometime between 2019 and 2021, we are going to see a recession here in the United States. However, if you look at the last 6 recessions in the U.S., only one of them did housing prices lose value, and that was the most recent one from 2008 to 2011 that we dealt with that as things went down significantly, and of course many people were affected by that. We called it the Great Recession. And in all honesty, when you look at the national numbers, and granted, there were certain pockets that were hit very hard by this, so I don't mean to diminish that in any way, because there were rural pockets especially that went down by 22, 25, and sometimes 30 or more percent. And then, of course, in the big cities, you're always going to have, in the large markets, the high-priced markets, you're going to see a significant drop because there's just more room to drop. So you did see that. But overall, the average nationally was only a 5% loss. The highest estimates were 5.5%, so that's good. Right now, the other interesting thing is that Homes.com did a survey and asked Americans, what is the most stressful event in modern life? And the answer is buying a home. At least that's what 40% of the respondents said. And of course, buying a home or selling a home can certainly be stressful, and that's the reason our team has our systems in place to try to make it as uncomplicated as possible and as the least hectic process that we can possibly make it. But 40% of folks feel that buying the home is the most stressful event in modern life, and the folks that didn't vote for that voted for the loss of a loved one. So if you consider that and how stressful that can be, then you certainly understand how powerful it can be. I have on occasion joked with some friends that it should be a rule that real estate agents should have to sell a home, buy a home, and actually move about every 7 or 8 years if they're in the real estate business, so they can remember what a difficult undertaking that it can be. So, if we look at the information surrounding the economy, the consumer price index increased by 0.2% in July, and the core CPI that excludes volatile food and energy prices is up about 2.4% the past 12 months. So a lot of folks are looking to the Fed for more rate hikes. So a lot of people are saying that there could be one. I personally believe there are going to be two. I think we're going to see one coming up here in the next meeting. I don't think you're going to see a rate hike anywhere around the election, because that could be disastrous for both sides, really. Sometimes you wish you could vote for none of the above when it comes to the politicians, like the old movie Brewster's Millions. But I think you probably see one coming up here soon, and before the third quarter ends, and then I think you'll see one in December also, when the Fed meets for their last meeting of the year after that. So the good news is initial jobless claims went down to 213,000, continuing claims remaining in the 1.7 million territory. And economists say that these numbers are pointing to a healthy rate of job creation, which is a key to the health of the real estate market. Of course, if people don't have jobs, they can't buy houses. So that's good. Dow was down only 0.6%, S&P down 0.2%, and the NASDAQ was up slightly last week. So that's pretty good news for all of us. We got a lot of numbers coming this week. All of them are going to forecast continued growth. We're going to get the housing starts and building permits that we expect both of those to show nice gains. We do expect to see my hope is that our housing starts are up over 1.3 million annually at a 1.3 million annual rate. For those of you that haven't heard me speak before, one of the big things when we were in the down market, when the market started to drop in 2006, before that, in 2003 through 2006, we had seen an annual rate of build with new construction between 1.3 and 1.4 million units annually. During the downturn from 2007 was the lowest one, where we only had about 360,000 starts, and then it gradually grew up. But we were still, if you look at 2007 compared with 2005 in the rate of building, we were 1 million units short every year based on that. And we continued to see that limited new home starts with new construction that occurred up until about 2013 and 14. In 14, we really saw things to begin to recover. And if I remember correctly, it was either 13 or 14 where we went over that 1 million new home starts. So theoretically, every year during that time from 2007 to 2013, we were losing, somewhere in the neighborhood on the average of about 800,000 homes a year that we normally would have built otherwise. So if you think about that and you run that for 5.5 years, you're talking about almost 5 million homes short, which is the reason our inventory is so low right now. So we're just now beginning to see that recover. And I really hope that the housing starts is going to be up. I'd love to see it up around 1.5 million. We really need to see some aggressive building. I'd really like to see lenders loosen up on the builders a little bit because they're limiting the amount of money they can borrow. Years ago, they used to build 8, 9, 10 spec homes in a subdivision where there were 300 or 400 homes. And today, most of the home sales that you see in new construction are going to be pre-sales because people are buying in. The lender won't let the builders build the home before somebody buys it. So somebody's got to make a commitment to buy that home. Then they've got to go to the design center, and it's a 9 to 10 month process. And the biggest problem with it is a lot of people don't have the vision in order to be able to see what that home will look like when they are considering it down the road. It's so much nicer to be able to walk through the house, get a feel for what the layout is, get a feel for what the options look like. If you've got 3 different models that are finished at 3 different levels, maybe one's got quartz, one's got granite, one's got solid surface countertops, maybe one's got a backsplash, one doesn't. You got laminate flooring or luxury vinyl plank flooring in one floor, hardwoods in another, and carpet in another. You really get to see what it's like to live in those. You get to study the acoustics, whether there's an echoey sound in the background or whatever it may be. So I'm really hoping that we see that. And the Philadelphia Fed index coming up this week, they're expected to indicate solid expansion of factory activity in that region. And that's a big key as things go along. So again, the good news here in the triangle, we're over 8,000 units available. That's up from about 7,300 about 4 months ago. So we are beginning to see the increases. Most of the increases are taking place in the $400,000 and up price range. Surprisingly, it's not new construction that's driving the rise in prices. If we study it, especially here in Wake Forest, where our home base is in downtown Wake Forest, it's interesting to study the market because we realize that it's resale homes or existing homes that are actually driving up home prices here in the area. Our average list price this past weekend was $471,000, and if you look at it, the average list price of new construction is right at $449,900, whereas the average list price for existing homes is up in the $485 to $486 range. So don't think that it's just new homes that are driving up those prices. What that tells me is that we've got some sellers that may be getting greedy, because if your house is listed for $480,000 and it needs $20,000 worth of updating, and a buyer can go down the street and buy new construction, pick their carpet, pick their flooring, pick their countertops, pick their paint colors and all of that, and spend $20,000 less, you're going to get beat on that one. So home sellers that are selling existing homes are going to have to understand that they're going to have to be more competitive with their pricing as things level out. And the other side of that is buyers are willing to pay full price as long as they'll be willing to pay top price as long as the property is in top condition. So you're not going to sell something that's got $25,000 or $30,000 worth of deferred maintenance. You're not going to sell the house when you need to replace the HVAC system. You're not going to sell the house and the buyer's not going to just take on that process. You're going to have to share in that somehow. So if you got a 16, 17-year-old house and you haven't replaced roof, you haven't replaced the HVAC system or major functions like that, you can expect the buyer to ask for you to at least share in that expense. And some of them are saying, if you don't put in a whole new HVAC system, I'm not buying the house. And they're able to walk away from only their due diligence money and not have to deal with it on the earnest money. So that's really what's going on this week. Glad you could join us. I appreciate your time here on the BP8 Podcast Network. BP8 Media is proud to bring you information like this as often as we can. And of course, as always, if you're thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate, or if you're thinking about buying or selling land, our team is happy to help you. We invite you to visit our website at paterealty.com, and you can see every home that's available in the Raleigh-Durham area. That includes land and multifamily. So if you're an investor, you can certainly look at those items too. If you're interested in something you see on our website, just click the contact button and we'd be happy to help you. Remember that we do not force you to register on our website. You can explore listings all that you want to without ever being pressured into giving up your email address or your phone number. Now, if you do decide to set up your own search and have information emailed to you on a regular basis, we'll certainly need to get that email address so that we can get you taken care of. I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on Brian Pate on Real Estate.